Good afternoon. Or what do I usually say? I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you are having a blessed day. Today we got good news and we got irritating news. The good news is Prince Harry will attend the Wellchild Awards. Yay! I didn't think he was going to do it this year, but you know, Harry is Harry. If he's got a charity, he's going to be in it to win it. So he's going to be there September 7th. And then we also have irritating news, bad news. There is a Meghan Markle sickness, but there's been a sickness for quite some time. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about Audra McDonald and the statement that she made about Meghan Markle today. I'm also going to talk about Thomas Markle Sr. and Carl Larson and the alleged agreement they made about a tour in Montecito. And we are going to also discuss the love that the bond that Harry and Meghan has. So let's get into it. Let's start with the good news, the Wellchild Awards. So, as I stated, Harry will be in London September 7th to present the Wellchild Awards and give a speech. Omid Scobie put out a statement today, and he said Prince Harry is London bound next month to attend the Wellchild Awards. The Duke, who has been a patron of the charity for 15 years, will fly in for September 7th ceremony and to spend time with each winner and their families at a special reception. And Prince Harry also put out a statement today. He said, for nearly 20 years, Wellchild has been transforming the lives of children and young people across the UK, providing critical care that prioritizes the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of these individuals and their families. The courage and strength embodied by these young people and the tireless devotion of those who support them never cease to inspire me. I'm honored to attend this year's awards ceremony and celebrate their incredible work. Now, for those who doesn't know the backstory about Wellchild, I'll give that to you. Wellchild is a charity that provides care for seriously ill children and young people in the United Kingdom. Founded in 1977, the charity introduced and funds Wellchild nurses who provide care and support to children and young people needing long-term or complex care, helping children to leave hospital and be cared for at home. The charity also operates Helping Hands, a home improvements scheme which, with the support of volunteer teams from local companies and organizations, provides home and garden improvement projects aiming to make homes more suitable for their needs. So it's an awesome charity for children, families, and people who are caring for them. It's been going on since 1977, and Harry's been working with them for 15 years, and it's thriving. Most of Harry's charities are thriving. They put in a lot of work to support these kids and their families. And if this is something that you would like to look into or donate to, actually, I have a video of Prince Harry going over information. It was a video that he put out earlier this year. I'll let you hear it.
For the past 15 years that I've been patron, I've been immensely grateful for the work that Wellchild does and moved by the stories I hear and the people I meet. For children and young people with complex medical needs, Wellchild provides access to high-quality care services and the opportunity to thrive at home alongside their families. Wellchild also creates a network of support for families who are facing countless medical, logistical, and mental health challenges, compounded by a cost of living crisis that adds tremendous pressure in caring for their children who are dependent on life-saving equipment. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the carers and health professionals, doctors, nurses, teachers, play specialists, and many more, who are part of the Wellchild family as well. They deliver life-changing support each and every day. Despite facing immense challenges, Wellchild families continue to display a resilience and fortitude that is nothing short of inspiring. And right now, you can play a role in highlighting someone in your life who inspires you. By nominating someone for a Wellchild Award, you have an opportunity to introduce someone special to the Wellchild family. Each year, I so look forward to meeting with the award winners and spreading awareness about this incredible charity. I hope this year you'll join me and get involved. Nominate someone today. Please visit www.wellchild.org.uk to find out more. And thank you for your support.
Aww, how cute. But anywho, here is the press release that Wellchild put out to let everybody know that Prince Harry will be there September 7th. So this is a great, this is good. So I also have winners of the Wellchild Awards. There are different categories. The first one is Violet. She won the Inspirational Child 4 to 6 Years Award. Now, I lost my good glasses, so I'm wearing these Dollar General glasses, reading glasses, so I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to try to get through what I can see. So Violet is 6 years old. Her name is Violet Seymour. She was born with a brain condition. In 5 years, she has undergone multiple brain surgeries and other medical procedures to manage ongoing problems. Violet now has to cope with hydrocephalus, a damaged spinal cord, a condition called neuropathic bladder, and breathing problems. So that's Violet. And she won the Inspirational Award between 4 and 6. Next, we have George. He won the Inspirational Child 7 to 11. 11-year-old George Hall has severe health problems, meaning he has a trach, pacemaker, and complete heart block. He is also tube-fed and relies on life support machines every night. George has been in and out of the hospital his whole life and has undergone hundreds of procedures to help with his complex medical needs. Despite his array of medical issues, George's spirit is unbreakable, and he always remains brave and positive. So that's George. The next child is Haley. Haley is the inspirational young person between 12 and 14. Haley has cerebral palsy and a displaced hip, as well as other complex medical needs. Haley requires daily physiotherapy sessions, but she always remains positive. Haley is determined to not only live her life to the fullest, but also help others in need. She has raised over 100 pounds or 100,000 pounds for charity by singing in her choir and strives to encourage those around her. Haley also excels at sports. She has won numerous medals for wheelchair basketball and is on the England pathway for Great Britain and plays for the Sheffield Steelers. That's Haley. Next, we have Blake, inspirational young person, 15 to 18 years. Blake has a very complex and incredible rare genetic condition, which means he has weakened muscles and can't eat or drink. Blake has been in and out of the hospital his whole life and undergone hundreds of medical procedures, including open heart surgery. The insertion of a feeding tube and an operation to separate his stomach from his liver. He uses a wheelchair most of the time, received nutrient through a feeding tube, and recently spent 7 months in hospital for operation and treatment to reduce some of the chronic pain, but he remained resilient throughout the spread. So he remained resilient throughout and spread cheer to the hospital team with his infectious smile and fun antics. That's Blake. The next child is Poppy. This is a Caring Child Award. 6-year-old Poppy is the devoted little sister of 16-year-old Paige, who requires 24/7 care to manage her complex health needs. The challenges Paige faces include severe epilepsy, and I'm not going to pronounce that because I don't know what that is. Let's continue. She needs help to breathe, eat, and move, and is often rushed to hospital where she has to spend long periods of time. Poppy life must work around her sister's needs, but she never complains, even when special events like birthday celebrations are canceled or disrupted. Instead, Poppy steps up to help, willing to do anything she can to make life better for Paige. So Poppy is a caring sister to Paige. The next child is, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly, is Rucky Rookie. He has a special recognition. 14-year-old Rucky has a form of brittle bone disease and is entirely adult dependent for his mobility and care needs. Rucky has undergone many surgeries and has suffered from numerous fractures and pain due to his condition. A recent major surgery to correct his scoliosis was followed by a difficult recovery, leaving Rucky in braces. His condition means that he has to take frequent time away from school and away from his friends until it's safe for him to return. Despite his challenges, Rucky has developed into a chatty, fun-loving, and witty young man and has been recognized at school for his hard work, particularly that he stays behind at school 3 days a week to catch up on homework club. Oh, that's Rucky. So give these kids a hand. Oh. So that's the Wellchild Award. And from what I'm told, it will be live streamed on Hello. So if you would like to watch the show, tune in to Hello. Now, we are going to go into the bad. But before we go into the bad, let's cleanse. Let's cleanse this with holy water because, ooh, they need it. So here's the thing. Thomas Markle and Carl Larson are at it. Let me give you the details. Let me give you the backstory. So Thomas Markle, former YouTube partner Carl Larson, says he had to edit out inappropriate things Meghan's dad said about the royals. So this was back in 2022. They had a YouTube channel together. Carl Larson was throwing mud at Thomas Markle Sr. Thomas Markle Sr. was throwing mud at Carl Larson. Okay. So back in 2022, supposedly they were not talking. Now, in 2023, anger over tour bus that takes fans within feet of Harry and Meghan's mansion. Let me read this to you. The description for the tour, written by Larson, read, I'm the world famous celebrity photographer, Carl Larson, a best friend of Thomas Markle Sr., and the guy with the stunning exclusive portfolio of pictures of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle together in Montecito. I am the only person who has an open communication pathway between Meghan's camp and the rest of the Markle's family, which is a lie. Meghan and Harry, they don't communicate with anybody. They only communicate with close-knit people. They don't trust other people. And they most definitely wouldn't trust Carl Larson. So that is a lie. There is nobody on the planet that knows more info than me. I'm the only person that's qualified to put on such a tour. Larson, who hosted a YouTube show with the Duchess' dad, said, I've talked to Thomas about the tour, and he said, oh my God, you might have a winner there. So this is according to Thomas Larson, that he's been in close contact with Thomas Markle Sr. And he's stating that Thomas Markle Sr. agreed to the tour. Now, what does the tour consist of? It consists of them driving around Meghan's favorite shops and restaurants and the Polo Club, where she lovingly kissed Harry. Celebrity-obsessed fans will be thrilled to find out they can also drive by the homes of other celebs like Katy Perry and Cameron Diaz. The bus also goes through LA, where fans will see Meghan's old home and her old school. And there are even plans to extend the trip. Now they're talking about extending the trip to Rosarito in Mexico, so people can meet Thomas, who fell out with Meghan in 2018. But get this. Larson stated, I've also asked if we can go see Thomas Markle, and he said, hold that thought. Thomas Markle allegedly approved for this man to take derangers on a bus around his daughter and his grandchildren, but he doesn't want them going to his house in Rosarito. Can you believe that? So Larson says, so hopefully one day, I've always thought I can turn what I know about Meghan and Harry into a tour. I'm sure it's interesting to many people. Yeah, maybe her fans, not derangers. I mean, what? Who would agree to something like this other than a deranged person? Carl Larson, he doesn't like Meghan or Harry. He can't stand them. That is the reason why Thomas Markle quit the show, because Carl Larson was saying nasty things about Harry and Meghan. Now this man is wanting a piece of the pie. He wants to make money by exploiting Harry and Meghan. And there are a lot of people who are not happy about that, including Christopher Bowsey, a tech entrepreneur who appeared in Netflix Harry and Meghan's docuseries, expressed concern it could open up the couple to harassment for tourists. The harassment of Harry and Meghan is escalating, or has been escalating. And now these deranged people are taking their harassment offline while trying to profit off their harassment. This is sick. And I agree with Christopher Bowsey. He wrote on his social networking site, Spoutable, this is sick. Why would they do something like that? But a source close to Thomas Markle Sr. said the claim that somehow Tom is involved in this tacky and, frankly, exploitative tour is 100% false and has left Tom angry and deeply distressed. There is no truth to any of it. He would never lend his name to something like this. Tom is not close friends with Carl Larson. Mr. Markle briefly took part in a YouTube show with Larson, but quit the show when he felt uncomfortable with some of the comments Larson made about Prince Harry and Meghan. Tom may be estranged from Meghan, but he loves her and would never do anything to hurt her or place her or his grandchildren in jeopardy, according to a source. He was briefly involved in a project with this person, Larson, years ago, something he has come to regret. Yeah, he's come to regret a lot of things, right? He was also in contact with Jason Knopf. And if you guys don't know who Jason Knopf is Prince William's right-hand man who went to court when Meghan was battling with Mel on Sunday about a letter she had written to her father. Prince William sent Jason Knopf to court to side with the very press who is trying to destroy his brother and his sister-in-law. Thomas Markle was in close contact with Jason Knopf before Harry and Meghan got married because they did everything possible to prevent the marriage from happening. But let's continue on. Tom has severed contacts with this man and wants nothing to do with him personally or professionally. And then Thomas Markle Jr. put his 2 cents in. He says, under no circumstances whatsoever did my father ever agree or was even aware of such a ridiculously cheesy and embarrassing idea of being involved in a tour bus business with Carl Larson, who has no authorization to use my father's name in any ad campaign for a cheesy Hollywood tour van business. What kind of person does that? Carl Larson. That's the type of person who would do something like that, and all these other darn derangers. Those are the people who would do things like that. People that your father circle was in contact with when his daughter was begging him to stay away from people like that. He stayed in bed with people like that for money. And because of that, he lost his daughter. But get this. Although people are saying that Carl Larson is wrong and he needs to stop, this is deranged, this is harassment, Carl Larson fires back and he says, this is not going to be the end of the tour. So he's going to continue with the tour. The tour is designed for people who like Harry and Meghan. It's like going to see Elvis, going to see Graceland because they like Elvis. Wait a minute. I don't know a lot about Elvis, but wasn't Graceland set up for people to come to look at it? Harry and Meghan has put out there several times that they want their privacy. They don't want people going up and down their street, by their houses, restaurants that they frequent. They don't want people harassing them. So this is wrong. And Christopher Bosley was correct. After the British tabloids got a hold to what was going on with Carl Larson, here come the bots. Look at my video. They're all saying the same thing. New Meghan Markle Montecito tour bus sails out. And then they're taunting Jack Royston and Christopher Bosley. And then they're also stating that Meghan Markle is behind the fake bus tour. So now they're gaslighting her. And they're basically all saying the same thing. Who are paying the bots to come out and continue to amplify the hate? And this is when we get into Audra McDonald. Audra McDonald she feels the same way that we all feel about this. We are drained. And we can't understand how something like this is allowed to continue. I've never seen harassment like this in my life. Never. And I've said this a million times. That is the reason why I have this YouTube channel. So, if you don't know who Audra McDonald is, let me give you a backstory. She is known for her work on the Broadway stage. She has won 6 Tony Awards. She was honored with the National Medal of Arts by President Barack Obama in 2016. She was inducted into the National Theater Hall of Fame in 2017. And also my girl, she used to play on Private Practice. She was Dr. Bennett between 2007 and 2011 on ABC. That was a good show. So that's Audra McDonald. So she gave an interview to Vanity Fair today, and she was asked questions. And one of the questions were, which living person do you most admire? And she said, Meghan Markle. I don't know how she continues to walk through this world with the grace, strength, and purpose that she does, given the unbearable amount of vitriol and hate she has been subjected to. But she does. I wish she didn't have to. And aren't we all with Audra McDonald? We all wish she didn't have to. But this wasn't the first time Audra has spoken out for Meghan. She also spoke out in 2019 when Meghan was pregnant with Archie, and she was being vilified and harassed for holding her stomach. This is what Audra McDonald said. Me at about 8 months pregnant. The reason I'm posting this is because of Meghan Markle. I cannot believe what this woman has had to endure from social media and the press. Then today, to read about how weird her body language is by a supposed woman's magazine that supposedly prides itself on celebrating fierce, independent, strong women who can do anything and have it all. Do better. She said, when I was 8 months pregnant, I touched my belly also all the time. Because why? It's my belly and it's my baby. She said, I had crazy emotions, ranging from elation to depression to rage to uncontrollable fits of laughter. I was swollen, hot, sweaty, enormous, in search of my feet, hot fudge, Sunday junkie, nervously excited, pudgy face, waddling goddess. The thought of having to go through all of that, plus having a million cameras in my face, bullied left, right, and center, and still be gracious, elegant, gorgeous, and full of perfect purpose in front of the whole world is unimaginable. Do better. Leave her alone. That was in 2019. It's 2023, and they're still going at it. Between May 2019 and April 2020, they wrote 246,525 articles about Meghan Markle, according to the digital PR agency Bonk. 246,525 articles between May 2019 and April 2020. Can you believe that? And it's still going on, and this is 2023. I blocked out the person who wrote this on X. She said, tabloids endorsed by a psychotic royal family is something many of us have never witnessed. I know that's right. Hating her is an industry. Sis is single-handedly keeping careers alive and paying bills for deranged Karens and salty islands. And she is not lying. And that is the reason why Carl Larson is trying to get in on the gold mine. While Meghan is living her life and trying to raise her family. There was a video that I saw on Twitter that pretty much sums up Meghan attempting or trying to go on with her life while the British press, the royal media, and all the derangers are just beating on her, this dragging her, smearing her, gaslighting. I'll let you guys see it. We on it. Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your. That's my girl. They just keep trying to beat down her door, but she is continuing on with her life, with her family, with her husband. And it all started, she fell in love, she met a prince, he proposed, and she agreed. I want to show you a video with her, I would say her friends on Suits. They were on a charter bus on their way to her wedding. Let's get into something positive now.
And we're gonna get married, going to the chapel, and we're gonna get married. That's pretend, guys. You're all actors.
Going to the chapel. Whoop, whoop. It was a beautiful, beautiful time in 2018. They were going to the chapel. Meghan was going to get married. Look at this beautiful video. Look at her in her wedding gown. Look at the people, how they're looking at her and how the sun, how it's beaming on the top of her head. It's just, it was perfect. Look at Harry holding her hand and looking at her. It's a beautiful moment. Beautiful. This was after the wedding. This is when they were releasing everything and having a good time. And Harry is holding his bride tightly because he knew what she was about to endure. Meghan didn't have any idea. She had no idea what she was marrying into. Because if she would have known, I can't say if she would have, I can't say if she would have married him. I think she would have, I don't know. I don't know how anybody can endure what she's going through. They according to Spare, Harry stated that although the tabloids, they were writing all these nasty articles about her and racist articles and trying to get people to dislike her before the marriage and a little bit after the marriage, but it was when this happened in Australia that his family turned on them, really turned on them. Look at the video. They tried to stop the wedding, but the wedding proceeded. They married and they were extremely popular to the point where envy turned into hate. And then hate turned into to the point where they didn't even want them around. They wanted them to disappear. This is Meghan before she married Harry. Carefree, lovely, smiling, moisturized, beautiful, in love. This is after she married Harry. She's still beautiful. She's still moisturized. She's still living her life. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but they did not break my sis. They are still together. Look at this picture. They're happy. While everybody else is miserable and depressed, they are living their lives and they are going on with their lives with their families and they are thriving. Harry will be at the Wellchild Awards next month. He will also be in Germany, Dusseldorf, holding the Invictus Games. They have the Netflix Heart of Invictus coming out at the end of this month. They are working on a project. They're turning a book into a movie. They are doing big things. So they went from modern royals to leaving that family to being, people get mad when I say this, the Montecito royals, because you have to admit, people are still obsessed with them. They left that salty island. They moved to the United States. They moved to California. And people can't get enough. They can't stop talking about them. Hopefully someday it stops. But I don't know. But that's how I'm going to end this video, with love. They are still together. They're in love. And Harry's not going anywhere. Harry's not leaving Meghan. So they can write all the articles they want. They can say whatever they want to say. Harry and Meghan are going to continue to go on with their lives. And I have this, I'm going to end this segment a little different. I have this video, Al Green singing Love and Happiness. If you like the video, please like, share, or subscribe. Until my next video, peace.
Yeah. Something that can make you do wrong, make you do right. Yeah. Love. Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about she can make it right. Yeah. Happiness is when you really feel good about somebody.